We're going to be talking about corn today. This is a plant whose magic and medicine is older than the United States. It's older than colonization. It's older than the word corn itself. It's called first plant, mother plant, and a spirit being. So let's go inside and talk about it. So we're going to be talking about corn. Magical, medicinal, all of that jazz. So the magical uses in North America, indigenous and folk traditions. It's a spirit of sustenance, protection, fertility, continuity. Corn is treated as a living ancestor in many indigenous traditions. It's associated with motherhood, nourishment, and the land's generosity. Cornmeal, this is white cornmeal. You can also get yellow cornmeal and also stone ground cornmeal. Is considered a sacred offering and a path opening sustenance. Cornmeal is ground corn and can be used for protection by sprinkling it across your thresholds, your windowsills, or around your property. It can be offerings to land spirits, ancestors, and crossroad beings. It can be used to mark ritual circles, spirit paths, or liminal boundaries. It can be mixed with salt or ash to cleanse tools or spaces. We're going to go over here and get the corn kernels I have. So corn kernels. Now this is the corn I grew. It's the one that kind of has like a red cob. This is what you would buy for squirrel feed or something in a pet store. And this is the Indian corn. That's what they called, or colored corn. These come off of the decorative corn that you can buy in like grocery stores and farmers markets for fall decorating. That's what they are from. So they can be used in divination. You can cast them like bones or shells or runes. It can be used in prosperity magic and carried in charm bags and placed in the pantry. They can be used in weather magic by throwing them into a fire to call or banish rain. In spirit calling by filling rattles with the kernels to summon or honor spirits. The corn husks, which I have some drying from my corn right here. They're used for doll making, we all know that, which can be spirit houses, puppets, ancestor dolls, and binding magic by twisting into knots for spell work, and protection charms by braiding the husk and hanging them in barns or homes. The corn silk. This is the darker corn silk from the corn I grew. You can get like a really light colored one from like the white corn or the yellow corn. This can be carried in a pouch for luck, added to honey jars or sugar bowls for sweetening spells, burned or steeped to invite prophetic dreams. The corn stalks, which I showed you earlier outside, can be placed at doors during harvest for threshold guardians, tied into crosses or knots for warding, burned to honor field spirits. The corn cobs, which I have some hanging up that I took the corn off of. They're hanging above my window here drying. This is the red corn cobs from the corn I grew. They can be burned to send messages to spirits, thrown into running water to carry away unwanted influences, and a symbolic phallic tool for fertility rites in some traditions. Now, in European witchcraft, corn meant any grain, so it could be called the grain mother, the corn maiden, or the harvest lord. The corn dolly, which I do not have one made, but we know those. It houses the spirit of the field after the harvest. It's kept through the winter for protection, or buried or burned in the spring to return the spirit to the land. Grain was used in weather magic, fertility rites, and spirit offerings. Scattered grain confuses malevolent spirits because they have to count it. Grain in the shoes or pockets protects travelers. In baneful magic, grain is mixed with ash or soot to curse fields. Grain dolls were used for sympathetic magic, and grain is scattered at crossroads to summon spirits. So, medicinal corn. The corn silk, Zea mays stigma, used for urinary tract support, diuretic action, kidney and bladder inflammation, and soothing irritated tissues. A tea is made as the classic remedy for UTIs, kidney stones, prostate inflammation, and water retention. I wouldn't use this corn silk. I would use the corn silk, preferably from the white corn or the light yellow corn is what I would use. And I would save it, like when you're shucking the corn and stuff, save that inner corn silk, because the part that sticks out the top is going to be brown. That's how they know that the corn is ready to be picked. But the corn silk that you pull away from the kernels inside, save that. Cornmeal is used for poultices to draw out infection, splinters, or inflammation, for soaking skin when mixed with warm water, for rashes or irritation. Corn smut, which I don't have any, but that sometimes you'll see pictures or stories about a fungus, greenish looking fungus growing on the corn. That it's a fungal growth on corn, and it's used for immune support, nutrient density. It's actually a culinary delicacy, and digestive health. Corn pollen, that would be the pieces sticking up from the top of the corn stalk. That is sacred medicine for blessing, healing, and protection, and carried as a holy substance in some indigenous traditions. So on my trad path here in North Florida, corn is a local power plant. It's a land spirit, and it's tied to field spirits, ancestor spirits, household protection, and weather and storm magic. Cornmeal in Southern conjure and witchcraft is blown out to send prayers or commands to the spirits. Cornmeal lines it blocks or redirects harmful forces. Like if you put down a cornmeal line across your threshold or somewhere like that, or around your circle, that's what it means. It blocks or redirects the harmful forces. Cornmeal and salt will cleanse your thresholds, and cornmeal is an offering to crossroads spirits. Cornmeal or corn kernels can be put on the altar to anchor the body in hedge crossing and offered to spirits that you meet in trance and use to mark your return path home. Corn husk dolls can house ancestors, land spirits, and household guardians. So I have a corn rite that I have here. Protection and relationship with the land spirit of corn. So you take cornmeal in your left hand. You stand at the edge of your property or your field. Excuse me. You speak to the corn spirit as a being, not as a symbol, and you sprinkle the cornmeal clockwise. I feed you who feed the land. Walk with me, watch over this place. Then you leave an offering, like water, first and foremost, or tobacco or honey. That's my top 3, always. And then you walk away when you leave an offering like that without looking back. You don't look back. So that's about corn. Another thought I had is this could be poppet stuffing. Your corn husks could be shredded up, like cut it up in tiny pieces. You can use that as corn stuffing. You can use the corn kernels as stuffing. This probably not, unless you put it inside of something that it won't leak out of, because otherwise you'll have powdery substance like poofing out. What is this hanging on? This is an antique corn dryer. It's made of iron. I got 3 of them from Etsy as a deal because each one was missing a prong or 2. And so as not to damage it, I didn't want to accidentally break it because it is so old. I drilled a hole in the end of this corn, and I have to go and get another armful of corn from my corn and bring it in to process, like you've seen me have here. And I want to hang it up here on this. Hang it from the ceiling. I actually got a set of 3. The other one is right here with some of the same kind of corn cobs hanging from it as a decorative thing. You know, if I need it, I can use it. So, yeah. And these jars you're seeing me work on over here that I'm painting black, these are my herb jars, my apothecary jars, whatever I keep my herbs and spices in. I have some already finished here. This is what you would call grubbing. The black paint, then Mod Podge, and sprinkling on cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, any of those kinds of spices, cloves, even ground cloves, coffee, used coffee, or even instant coffee. You can put that on there to grubby it up. So I'm working on all of my jars and trying to get more done, because they're all going to go up there. Because look how good these look, y'all. You see these? And then you see these. And I just like the look of this better. And then I do that. That's great if that's all you want to do. But this, I like this. I like the way it looks against the old stuff. And I like old stuff. So that's my video for today about corn. And now I gotta go harvest some more corn. So until next video, I'll see you then.